Hello and welcome to Toku Trivia Time, your hookup for factoids, details, and other tidbits about your favorite tokusatsu shows. For this episode, we'll be discussing the Ace Fighter, the Miracle Man, and the second Red Giant to fight for the sanctity of the Earth, Ultraseven. Ultraseven began production almost immediately after the end of Ultraman in April of 1967, though it wouldn't be until October of that year that Ultraseven aired. In the meantime, Toei produced a whole new show called Captain Ultra. Though incredibly different from the themes and set pieces from Ultraman, it was a science fiction show with Ultra in the title, made to fit that time slot on TBS. Though it only lasted 24 episodes, just enough weekly half hours to lead up to Ultraseven the week after its last episode, it too has a cult following of its own. Ultraseven first started off as a project called Ultra Eye, wherein a man named Moriboshi would apply the Ultra Eye in times of crisis to become Redman. It should be noted that Redman by now had become a temporary name, and that the name would be passed around future Tsuburaya projects such as Fireman. The name was finally used in a Tsuburaya production as Redman in 1972. It was said to also be a copyrighted name that would be renewed again and again in order to fight off competing or even knockoff brands of Ultraman. Veteran Ultraman writer Tetsuo Kinjo came up with the name of Ultraseven, citing a premise of 7 primitive monkeys entertaining themselves. Toru Narita, the designers for Tsuburaya's Kaijus and Ultraman himself, took on the helms of designing Ultraseven. After being disappointed with the inclusion of the color timer on his otherwise minimalist Ultraman design, he instead decided to go for a very maximal design that looked very robotic in appearance. Narita whittled the design down to one that was inspired by medieval European knights, though with an Ultraman-inspired color scheme and lines. He had made the design with Ultraman suit actor Ben Furuya in mind. Furuya, however, had been committed to play the Ultra Guard's own Amagi, which disappointed Narita. The suit acting went to a couple different actors, including Koji Uenushi primarily, and Eiichi Kikuchi, who had also gone on to play Ultraman Jack in Return of Ultraman. Ultraseven was written with an emphasis of alien invasion, political commentary, and other tropes of Western science fiction. For example, one episode depicted an arms race, and another had criticized economic booms and their theoretical downfalls, though through the lens of alien invaders and their attacks on Earth. Ultraseven himself also had many more abilities shown than Ultraman, having a multitude of raids, telekinesis, and attacks involving his eye slugger, the weapon from the top of his head. He was also shown as being human height to match his enemies, meaning that the Ultra Guard could have a much higher involvement in fighting the enemy and communicating with the Ultra of the season, at least compared to the Science Patrol in the original Ultraman. Aside from Ben Furuya, Sandayu Dokamamushi, the actor for Arashi in the original Ultraman, returned to play Furuhashi, the most physically active of the Ultra Guard. Some release material takes it a step further, however, as in the 2016 novel Ultraman F, it was said that they were actually twin brothers, but that Arashi was given up for adoption and that the other brother stayed with the Furuhashi family. However, it's important to remember that this book is non-canon. The mechanical design of the Ultra Guard ships were mainly inspired by Thunderbirds, which was also incredibly popular in Japan at the time. Though the original Ultraman had unified jet aircrafts known for their round, circular looks, the Ultraseven aircrafts were long and pointy. The Ultra Hawk No. 1 could separate into 3 components. The No. 2 is used in space travel with a very similar design to Thunderbird 3. And the No. 3 is a backup aircraft with a similar design to Thunderbird 2. As stated before, the show's focus was on aliens rather than kaiju, unlike Ultraman, which focused on the kaiju instead of aliens. However, like the original Ultraman, some of those characters would not see their episodes be produced. Some of the aliens used in these unproduced episodes would have fully built suits, and they would go on to become other aliens, such as Alien Talk from the unproduced Revenge of 300 Years, into Alien Borg in Operation Cyborg. One episode was even outright banned, being episode 12, From a Planet with Love. Just like the original Ultraman, the setting Ultraseven takes place in was left fairly ambiguous throughout its run. You could see key details that it takes place in 1968 in certain episodes, such as the newspaper declaring it to be May 1968 in episode 38, or pop culture being sprinkled in, such as the pop band's The Tigers logo appearing in episode 42. There would be direct contradictions within the show, however, as there's a date in episode 43 reading August 30th, 2000. This would all be cleaned up in the next entry in the Ultra series, Return of Ultraman, retroactively placing Ultraseven at 1967 to 1968. In the US, aside from several different subtitled releases of the show on a home release, the show had been dubbed into English on 2 occasions, the first of which was in the late 70s, being aired in Hawaii.
Look! Another shooting star!
Commander, the Coast Guard just informed us that another cargo ship, this one the Black Tide, is missing off the coast of Kyushu Island. Ultraseven!
This dub included a fresh rendition of the original theme song to Ultraseven, sung by Anasan veteran Masato Shimon, also in English.
Seven, 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 seven.
The dub is also said to be notoriously bad, as when Turner Broadcasting commissioned Ultraseven to be released in the US, they scrapped the Hawaiian dub entirely and instead brought on Sinar, a Canadian media company, to make a brand new dub.
With this thing to back us up, Dan, no aliens will dare attack the Earth. This missile will blow them out of the sky.
I was thinking of switching to chemical warfare.
Oh.
Dan dashes out of sight of the others, and using the ash as a smokescreen, converts to Ultraseven.
Turner was reportedly dissatisfied with this dub as well, not airing it until 1994 on the TNT programming blocks Monster Vision and Tunes Till Noon. This Turner connection gave several opportunities to use Ultraseven and other Turner-owned properties as well, as footage from certain episodes appeared in Cartoon Planet in various sketches, as well as one episode of Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
This Ultraseven man, was a great superhero, and he was loved by all. But the ratings were not so good. Just because your show gets stinking canceled, it doesn't make you a bad person!
After the licenses for Ultraseven ran out, home releases of Coast to Coast would replace that footage, and Cartoon Planet never aired again altogether. The legacy of Ultraseven shows no bounds, among the character reappearing several times throughout other entries of the Ultra series to play important roles, such as in Return of Ultraman, as well as Ultraman Leo, in which he is shown as a mentor to Leo. There have been several continuations to the original story. These include the Heisei Ultraseven original video series, which started in 1994 and lasted sporadically until 2002, as well as the 2007 series Ultraseven X. There was even a TV drama aired on NHK called The Ultraseven I Loved, which depicted Yuriko Hishimi as she plays Ann Yuri on Ultraseven. The popularity of Ultraseven exceeds that of Ultraman by a considerable margin, at least in its home country of Japan. For example, the capsule monsters that Dan Moroboshi uses outside his Ultraseven form would inspire the capsules that Bulma uses in Dragon Ball, as well as the Pokeballs in Pokemon. You can probably count on Ultraseven to make cameo appearances in modern Ultraman media as well. In Great Decisive Battle, the Super 8 Ultra Brothers, Dan Moroboshi is shown married to Ann Yuri, running a Hawaiian-themed restaurant in an alternate universe. This is a reference in itself, as Koji Moritsugu, the actor for Dan Moroboshi, runs a Hawaiian-themed restaurant called the Jolly Chapeau, which is decorated with many Ultraseven-related items. Koji Moritsugu also covered the theme song to Ultraseven in the album Ultraman 40 Years Later. Dan Moroboshi would also inspire the character of the same name in the 2011 manga and 2019 anime Ultraman. That's it for this episode, but if you'd like to watch and support Ultraseven, I recommend you check out the Mill Creek Entertainment releases. I'd like to note that these are officially licensed from Tsuburaya. What do you think of Ultraseven? Did we miss anything? Know of any other cool details you know about Ultraseven? Let us know in the comments below. Hey guys, my name is Liz, and I decided to write up this Toku Trivia Time in the meantime while I'm working on History of Ichigo. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys learned something about Ultraseven, and this was actually really fun to do. I learned a lot of stuff myself, and yeah, follow me on Twitter too. Thanks for listening and watching, and also thanks to Marcos for editing this. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, bye.